Welcome, Isaac. How are you doing, sir?
I am good. How are you this evening?
Good, good. I'm ready for some game chat. It is Monday. It is time to talk about some games, the games we've been playing, the games we wish we were playing. And Isaac, why
All
don't
the
you
above.
introduce our special guest?
Indeed, we have a Ryan number two, Ryan Schoon from Man v Meeple is joining us. Ryan, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me, guys, and for picking such a great topic for us to talk about today, too.
I don't think you posted on the topic, did you, Ryan? I don't remember.
Oh, was I supposed to post my
Oh,
answers? I thought I
no,
was
not you,
gonna-
not you.
No,
Sorry.
me.
The Ryan thing's gonna.
Yeah, so
get
no, I
us
did. I did say that it is all about rolling rights. So tonight,
Perfect.
So,
Yeah, so
we're talking about rolling rights, and it's funny. I didn't know this. We thought that we had both skipped over rolling rights. We've actually done rolling rights previously.
Yeah, I saw that when we went back.
I know.
I wonder if anybody pays attention enough to us to know who we did that with. I'll be impressed.
I'll go look while we start.
I know who it is.
Just know it was my fault because I really like rolling rights.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it's the right fit for the right guest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. We like to talk board games on Monday nights and all of the different things. So we have a chat on the right. If you're joining us in one of the different chats, do give Restream permission so we can post that up and get those comments out. So James, thanks for joining us this evening. So and cool kids, whoever the cool kids are. Oh, it's
Cool
Michael
kids.
Petrie.
We're the cool kids.
Michael, thanks for joining us, sir.
James, what's up? James is a friend of mine.
Awesome.
I love James.
So we always go intro question, right? Our first question, we were talking roll and rights, but kind of via NPR. If you ever listen to Wait, Don't Tell Me, they like to flip the topic, give a different question. So instead of roll and rights, we're talking roll or coaster that you enjoy. So I threw it out there as what is your favorite roller coaster? Where's it at? Describe it a little bit. Guest Ryan.
Yeah, guest Ryan.
Ryan S. If you'd like to start, sir.
I will start. So this is easy. This is a knockout roller coaster. This is Cosmic Rewind at Epcot, which is part of Disney World, if you don't know, in Orlando. I mean, Cosmic, I'm a huge Marvel fan. Isaac, I know you're obviously, we've been talking about Marvel forever. But this is Guardians of the Galaxy, and it puts you in, it's almost like a dark ride meets roller coaster, kind of like, the Aerosmith ride, but it's all set in the Guardians of the Galaxy universe. You're flying through space. There's planets. There's Celestials. I don't want to spoil. There's the Guardian ship, the Milano flying around, and it is absolutely wild. This thing twists and turns it's just it is the most fun I've ever had on a roller coaster in my life, bar none.
That's really cool. I've heard really good things about it. Actually, a friend of mine, I taught him a game today, and we were talking about the fact that he's taking the family to Disney this week at the end of the week, and that's one of the first things he wants to ride. So
it's a must ride.
That's awesome.
If you go to Epcot, you have to ride it. It is so much fun. It's really, I can't oversell it.
That's awesome. My roller coaster is going to be a controversial one because I don't like roller coasters. See, I'm bringing the controversy.
I didn't know
mine is going to be the Georgia Cyclone. I think it's been renamed a couple times. It is a rickety wooden roller coaster. I think it's got some kind of notoriety, like the longest or the tallest or the fastest wooden roller coaster in the state. I can't remember. Some kind of deal. Anyway, that thing jerks you around. You think you have whiplash when you get off of it. But it's about the only roller coaster I can handle, as far as speed but yeah, that's James knows what I'm talking about. At Six Flags over Georgia. Yep, rickety wooden one at the front of the park.
Do you have a close? Is that close to you?
It's an hour and a half away. So, yep.
Okay. So it's not
James
bad.
says, I like the big drop like Superman at Six Flags. We also have the Superman. Yeah. And I used to like the Batman Gotham one before my shoulders were too big to fit in the harness and I was asked to leave.
So,
taking off the coaster.
I have shoulders like that too. I always worry.
Yeah. So I tried to put the last time I rode it, I was in college. And so, no, me and Aaron, we'd just gotten married. That's what it was. So we just got married. I was 22. And so I went to go back. I went last summer to Six Flags. I went to get on that Joker. My torso to my shoulders is too tall and the thing won't go down. Like it clips, and they were like, "I'm sorry, you're too tall." So like they wouldn't.
Disappointing.
I was like, okay. So
for some reason, the ones in our Game of Sidekicks aren't showing up, but I'm watching it. So the Slinky Dog roller coaster, that's from Mr. Petrie, Michael Petrie's picked that one, and
that's a fun one.
Ryan's Need for Speed is from one of your teammates.
Ryan, we know.
It's Rick. It's Rick.
It's always Rick. It's always Rick.
So for me, I'm in Northwest Ohio. I have America's Roller Coast an hour away from me, which is Cedar Point. If you've never had a chance to get to Cedar Point, it is worth the trip. The roller coasters are amazing. And I grew up with it in my backyard, right? Went all the time, get the season pass every year. And I love it. And my favorite actually debuted when I was in high school. It's still one of my favorites. It's called the Raptor. And the Raptor is got a couple loops, couple spins. It's a leg dangling one, which I love. And the more new coasters they build at Cedar Point, the less popular it's gotten. So you can usually get on it with pretty good speed. And there was one year where I rode it front car. We got in the park early because of our season passes. We get around. They're like, there's no one in line. Do you want to go again? And we rode it 4 times in a row.
Nice.
That was the closest I'd ever been to like, oh, I don't know if I can handle roller coasters anymore. But it was great. So I love a good coaster.
Cedar Park is great. And they have that Raging Bull too, right? Is that what it's called? Where shoots you out of the cannon?
Oh, so they have one that's a super low coaster that does that like kind of it does a 94-degree angle and then shoots. So it actually goes back a little. It's got some crazy stuff.
I can't do that stuff, man. I rode the Zipper. So my dad, we were driving down the road. I was in high school, and me and my friend were with my dad. My dad said pulled over to the side of the road because we saw this really janky looking terrible roadside amusement park. He was like, that thing looks nuts, I want you to ride it. And I was like, no, I'll get sick. And he was like, I'll give you $10. And I was like, okay. So I rode it, and then I threw up in the bushes later. It was really bad. I made $10 though.
Mr. Schoon, that's Matt asking where you're at, why you're not at Gamma.
I know. I wish I was. I'm a dad. I'm sure a lot of you know that. I have a 4-year-old. So it didn't work out timing wise for me to go this year. But thanks for reminding me about all the FOMO that I'm experiencing now.
The last 2 weeks have been the gathering of friends.
I know the gathering, and then
I'm like, come on, guys, come on.
Then Gamma, I can't.
It's tough, right?
Even if I could, 3 weeks away is just too much right now.
It's a lot. Yeah,
my kid being as young as he is.
Well, and and you mentioned that. I mean, we're all dads. I mean, I have a full-time job outside of the board game stuff. I love getting to get to the ones I can. Yeah, but you can't go to everything. And
exactly.
But I'm glad, Matt, that you're out there having a good time. I'm sorry that you're with Derek, but besides that, it should be a good time.
Yeah, with Derek,
somebody's got to be his friend.
He's a fun sucker, right?
Takes it right out of the room. So our next question after the roller coasters is, talking about roll and rights as a genre, as a game type. Why are these such good games for families? We're talking about being dads and playing with our families, and for new gamers. What makes these such a good choice to hit the table?
Is that for
me? Yeah, we'll start with you each time.
Just kind of cycle it around.
I mean, I'm a big proponent of roll and rights for families and for new gamers, especially. I've been talking about this for a while because they're very easy to learn, and a lot of us did grow up playing games like Yahtzee. I mean, this is even the most complicated roll and write. It's still related to Yahtzee, right? We're used to the idea that you roll the dice, you match them up, you maybe score some points or whatever. So taking that concept and changing that from numbers to symbols. Okay, I get that. I'm not writing numbers down. I'm crossing off symbols, or I'm doing these different things. If you start with some of the basic roll and rights that have that basic principle, I think people can easily get into that. And also, it's just exciting. It's exciting to roll the dice, and to just hope. It almost has that, I don't want to say gambling feel, but a little bit like being at the craps table and saying, I'll roll that 7. I'm hoping that certain color rolls, or that certain symbol rolls, or that certain combination rolls. And then when it does, it's this very exciting, satisfying moment. Yeah. And I don't think you have to be a hardcore gamer to be able to understand and experience those moments. You get those moments the first time you play, first game you play, you'll have that much satisfaction, I think.
That's right.
For sure.
Something like Railroad Inc. Every time I play Railroad Inc., there's this tension of like, I know what I need to make this the best like pathway, all the things that I want to have happen. And then when it doesn't come up, I'm like, it's problem solving, you know? I can't think of a better genre for problem solving and adjusting strategy as you go. And so the roll and writes, and there's something also permanent about it. You know, a lot of the roll and writes, you know, some of them are, you know, you've got whiteboards and stuff like that, but a lot of them, once it's on paper, it's done. You know, so you're making this permanent decision. You're saying, I'm sticking to this plan, and you've got to find a way out of it. And I like that tension that comes with it. And I think that it makes for a really cool gameplay experience, because if you do poorly, you can come back and say, I'll do better next time. And it's like roll and writes. Most roll and writes are 20 minutes, you know? And so I'm not committing 2.5 hours and being like, up sucks, I lost, you know? So.
Yeah, and from a family perspective, you mentioned the decision making. I really enjoy that part, and I like that it starts everybody off on the same level, right? That we've all got this puzzle that we're trying to figure out together. We're trying to move in a different direction. I love seeing where everybody's brain goes. You know, like, well, why did you choose that? And I chose this, and the different directions that roll rights can do. And the other big thing from a family perspective for us is, I mean, we're a family of 4. It's my wife and I and 2 kids. But when we have extended family, a lot of these games, and we'll cover that probably here in a few minutes, expand almost unlimitlessly, right? So we can play 10 people, 12, 15, 30, right? And you know, if we got enough copies of stuff to play, we can make this happen. So I love the expansion aspect to a good roll and write.
That's true. James says my family was playing Machi Koro, but I don't think it's rolling right. I wasn't paying attention. That's true. But James, with the way things are going in the industry, there will be a Machi Koro rolling right at some point.
Surprised there isn't.
You got it half right. I mean, it's a roll.
It's true.
You roll something. Yeah, it's good.
It's true. Good call, sir. Good call.
Yeah, 50%.
So our next question leads into the classics. So we like to talk. One of my favorite episodes we ever did was when we talked classic board games with and now I just blanked with I'll remember in a second. But a good classic board game is essential, right? And we all grew up. I know Ryan and I did. I assume Ryan, that you did as well, grew up playing board games in your house. And so what is a good classic favorite roll and write for you? Like one that maybe you played as a kid, or one that brings back good memories?
I mean, I don't. So that's tough. Like roll and writes as a genre, I feel like are relatively new. I mean, we had Yahtzee as a kid, but this concept of roll and write, like I remember, for me, the first time I played a roll and write, I think was like 2014.
Okay.
Like what you'd think of as like an actual roll and write, and it was Knock 'em All, like right when that came out, and it was just out in Germany. It wasn't even out in America, and a bunch of people had brought it over, and we played Knock 'em All at Dice Tower Con that year, like 2000, I don't know, maybe somewhere around that time. And like it was the first time I'd ever experienced something like that took that concept of like Yahtzee and elevating it up to like that level. Like we had lots of roll and something games. There's games like Can't Stop, where you're rolling dice and moving, and like those games I played a lot as a kid. But when I played Knock 'em All, I remember everybody was playing it. Every table, anyone that could play the Dice Tower was trying to play it. And all the designers, you know, if you don't know Dice Tower Con, there's a lot of board game designers that go to that con too. And I remember being there and they seeing the lights go on in their head and people going, "Oh yeah, this is such a cool, simple game, but it's so much fun."
Right.
And I said, like, I remember us talking about how we're going to see this genre, like this is going to become a thing. I don't think any of us predicted the level of which like it actually has become a thing. So when I think of classic roll and writes, like that's what I'm thinking, like the 2015 time period. And for me, like Gone Sean Clever was the one that made me fall in love with roll and writes. Like I liked Knock 'em All, but like playing Gone Sean Clever, that's a game I still go back to. And I know that's not classic, like that wasn't my childhood.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've played anything that gave me that same kind of satisfaction as Gone Sean Clever. I never played anything like that growing up. And that game took me by surprise. How much I absolutely loved that game. But if there were, I mean, maybe I'm just forgetting. Did you guys have roll and rights like that style of game when you were kids?
Well, we had one that somebody just mentioned in the comments there that you threw up there.
Yeah, right? Actually, Scattergories was mine that I was going to put in there. So Scattergories, we played Scattergories as a family, but also when I was in high school and college, I played a lot of Scattergories. It was Scattergories and Taboo that always came out because we had 6 to 10 people in our friend group that we would just come together and hang out on the weekends. And so when we had our very small group, we would play Hero Quest. And then when we got together with the bigger group, we would play Scattergories and Taboo. And Scattergories was one that hit the table all the time. And then got to give props to the original roll and write bowling. You roll the ball and you write your score.
Come on. You actually meant real bowling? That's
yeah, bowling, dude. It's a roll and write.
I saw it in the notes, and I'm like, what is this old game that he played as
it's
a
a
kid?
roll and write. You roll the ball, you write the score.
It's fine.
It's become electronic. I think it's become electronic over the years, but whatever.
I like it. It's fine. I like it. I like it as an entry. Yeah. Thanks to Rob, gave us that for Scattergories and Jazz. They both said Scattergories for theirs. So good picks.
James,
I never even considered that. That is a really good point. Like, I can think of Scattergories as like a word game, part of game. Yeah. Like, I don't make that connection, but yeah.
James said, "Welcome to." I played that. So James is a guy that I've worked with. I worked with he at the company that he used to work with, and I still work for. But James and I played Welcome to. We had a whole gaming group, and we would play roll and rights all the time because it was such a portable, like, fun experience to have during lunch when you're only sitting around for an hour. So Welcome to's classic.
So Yahtzee, we kind of said, I think, is the easy answer, right? Yahtzee is the classic roll and write that we all played and had a good time with. And Ryan, you're saying Scattergories is your pick, right?
Yeah, classic. Yeah.
For me, I went with Boggle. We played a lot of Boggle as kids. Roll those letter dice right in the 4x4 tray, and then real quick write as many words as you can. And so I think for all of the ones, Scattergory, Boggle, they're definitely different than Gons, right? They're different than some of these ones, but there's still like this root to it, right? Like, I love
the foundation.
There's the foundation there.
Yeah.
I love rolling dice. Like, some people in our local group hate games that have dice in it. I love the chance of a good dice roll. I love taking, I don't want all dice rolling, but I like a little bit of chance, a little bit of creativity. Even sitting down playing D&D, I'm rolling dice, I'm writing out a character name. There's a component of rolling and then writing something.
D&D's a rolling right
now. Miniature golf.
I feel you,
whoever that is, miniature golf.
That's
is
Rick
a rolling
again.
Right.
No, that was Jazz.
I love rolling dice.
Yes.
Love it. Like, just getting up, like, it's fun and satisfying. But I kind of agree with some of those people that say that, because I don't love games necessarily where it just comes down to rolling dice, right? Because you can be very unlucky, which is why I think rolling rights work so perfectly for me, and again for families, because you can roll poorly and still have fun. Like Ryan said, the game is 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you rolled poorly for 20 minutes. Let's play another game. All right. Like, it's very easy to bounce back. You don't have a 2-hour game. Like, I can never play Warhammer because, even as cool as it looks, rolling 100%. Dice in that situation just makes me frustrated. So getting to roll the dice and use them in such a satisfying way, there's something like primal about rolling dice for gamers.
Tossing bones.
Yeah, when I'm looking at my pick 5 for tonight, and there's only one game that takes over 30 minutes, and it's like 30 to 35. Everything's under 30 minutes.
I've got one like that.
Easy post dinner kind of games.
Yeah, and I love that about it. So
thanks everybody with the comments. Bob
absolutely.
has a very interesting. Bob and I talk about this all the time. Dice placement is one of our favorite, right? But a lot of good dice placement games don't involve a lot of rolling, right? Even Titled Some is an initial roll, right, to see what comes out, but after that we're placing them, right? And so I was trying to think if there was something that was truly a dice placement that has a lot of, or I don't want to say a lot of, but has a more significant amount of rolling to it.
Yeah.
Well, there's one that we've been playing like a crazy, which is called Dice Manor, where
Yep.
You're rolling you're rolling dice.
There's a lot
so
more
many
dice.
dice, and you're placing them
Yep.
like on all these different spaces. But every time you place one, you re-roll all the rest. So you're rolling a lot of It's very satisfying.
Isn't Shelfie like that?
My Shelfie?
My Shelfie?
Yeah, is that the one? It's got
there's
dice
no dice
then...
rolling. You're thinking of Shelfie Stacker.
Shelfie Stacker.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking about. Where it has the basically columns,
the
and
board
rows
games.
on the,
Okay,
that could have been a roll and write, actually.
Yeah, it could have been.
I was just thinking about what's behind me, right here. Guild of the Merchant Explorers.
Oh yeah,
that's a flipping right.
It's a flipping
cubes.
It is. It is a flipping right.
It's a flipping right without the writing. I thought what they did with guilds was very amazing. Like that game sucks me in because it does. I think we've come back around. Like we're coming full circle now. People are taking that roll and write experience and taking the writing out of it because that game could be a roll and write, but it is very satisfying to have all of the cubes out and see those paths and not just have
100%.
The marks on the paper, like the erase board that you have to erase every time you finish a round. Yeah.
I have Dice Realms over here in my pile of need to review, so you just moved it up to the top for me. So,
nice.
Sagrada is a great dice game.
Well, and that's Sagrada too. The new Sagrada Artisans, it's a rolling right now. You're not taking the dice and placing them. You're taking the dice and you're coloring in things. And it's neat because like if you're fans of Sagrada, like taking away the dice placement element and turning it into a roll and write means that these window panels that they've come up with artisans they don't have to be grids. They can be all different shapes, all different sizes and weird elements because you're coloring. It's a rolling color basically.
And there's a game that I'm going to talk about in a little bit that is similar to that. And that's why I like it so much.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Our next question is which roll and write, so not necessarily one that we put in our pick 5, but what roll and write is criminally underrated?
I like criminally.
Yeah, I wanted an extra word in there. I thought excessively, and I went criminally.
Criminally sounds better.
Yeah.
Mr. Schoon, what do you got?
So I'm gonna cheat a little bit. This game actually just released or is releasing right now. It's called Draft and Write Records from Inside Up Games. And the reason that I say it's criminally underrated is because it did go to Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter, while it did fund, it never reached the numbers that I thought it should get. It didn't get the buzz with reviewers that I thought it deserved, and you don't hear about it like you hear about some other Kickstarter.
I've never heard of that one. Yeah,
right. You've never even heard of it. It's a flip and write, or it's a draft and write. Literally, you're drafting cards and you're passing them, trying to build a band, and like there's all this stuff happening on your sheet. Some of the cards are gonna like move your tour. Some of the cards are going to get you equipment. Some of the cards are going to get you actual band members. Then each one is like a little puzzle of like, okay, band members, you want like a specific, like a guitarist here, a drummer here, and you want to like line them up. And, when you're going on tour, there's these different paths of tours you can take. It is a very, very satisfying draft and write game. A very fun play on that formula. And I think it's unfortunate that it's not getting like just the representation. I hope that like, once it's been out for a while, people will start to realize like what they've been missing, but it just didn't do great as great on Kickstarter as it should have. So when I think of underrated, that's a game when I played a prototype, I was like, this is genius. Like this game is going to do fantastic. And it just kind of was one of those ones that trickled over, it pushed forward, but you guys should definitely seek it out.
What was it called again?
If you like roll and write games, it's called again, Draft and Write Records is what it's called from Inside Out.
Draft and Write Records. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that one up.
I'm here because I feel like it's underrated.
Absolutely.
So hopefully you guys will like it.
Yeah, I would put Floor Plan in that underrated. Floor Plan. This was supposed to be, Welcome To came out. Huge fanfare. Everybody loves Welcome To. And then Floor Plan was supposed to come out and follow it and follow in its footsteps and be the next big roll and write. It got delayed. It got reformatted. It struggled to be put out. But Floor Plan is a game that my daughter, who's 15 now, she continues to want to play this years later. And it's fun because the dice will sometimes just beat the crap out of you. You roll the dice and you're just like, I needed doors. What do you not understand about doors? And so you just have to make it work. And yes, does your house have 3 living rooms? Yes. Does it have 2 outdoor sheds? Yes. Does it have a pool that covers half the yard and 4 trees? Yes. Does it have 14 doors? Why? We don't know.
Why not?
So, but floor plan's really fun, and a house rule that we have for it is when we finish our house, when we finish our floor plan, we have to give somebody else in the house a tour of it. So we do like an HGTV situation where it's like when you walk in the front door, you'll notice the row of 16 windows pointing to the backyard. And yes, those are 2 trees blocking all of your views. You know,
perfect.
It's really fun.
I don't want to live there.
No, I don't. You never. There was a time when I had like 3 bedrooms and none of them had windows, and I was like, sucks for them.
Wow, that is interesting. So I pulled up the picture. I don't remember seeing this on Kickstarter at all. I'm kind of like surprised I missed this.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
I think a lot of people did. Unfortunately,
yeah. There's only like just over 1,000 backers. Yeah, I don't think the word of mouth got out on that.
Never heard about it.
Exactly. Like it did not get out like I would have hoped. Or
yeah.
I mean, I don't have any personal stake in it. It's like whatever. But you know, when you're a reviewer, you guys do reviews. Every once in a while, you get a prototype, and you're like, this is a game that deserves
100%.
Attention,
huge funding, right?
Yeah. Well, it says late pledges are open, so I know what I'm going to be looking at when I'm done here.
There you go.
I wonder if Bob backed that. Bob backs everything.
Bob backs everything.
My criminally underrated. It was super popular at Origins the year it came out.
It was.
Is Deadly Doodles by Steve
really
Jackson
good.
Games. This is a great family level game. Deadly Doodles 2 also. I love that it's a dry erase board rolling right. It's simple. It's a flipping right. I've always been a big fan of a lot of the things Steve Jackson Games does, and this one, crazy as it is, hit right before a pandemic. It's been out 5 years. Doesn't feel like it should be because we had a blip for 3 years. But this thing's been out for a while. Highly recommend checking it out. It's low price point. And again, the dry erase boards are just nice, right?
It's a great game. And I used to bring that to work all the time because we would play it during lunch. I recently gave it away. I kind of stacked together some games that I was like, I gotta make some shelf space, and so it went to a family who is enjoying it now. So
which is awesome.
Really glad.
The best thing you could do with a giveaway.
Absolutely.
Yep. So. Jazz. That's another underrated one as well.
Harvest Dice. Yes.
That was another one that was very simple, very quick. Like you could teach that game in 5 minutes.
Harvest Dice is so good.
You've talked about that quite a bit on here.
Yep.
Yeah. What's our next question? My screen went to sleep. There it is. It was. So Ryan, we wanted to introduce you and kind of have you give us a little bit background of your game story. Like how'd you get into board games initially? Kind of like what dove you into the hobby market, and talk about kind of your adventures with Man vs. Meeple also.
I mean, my story, I don't think my story is going to be a big surprise because I actually grew up gaming, right? So like I remember, tons of family gatherings playing old school board games, games like Clue. We played a lot of Scrabble growing up. We played a lot of Monopoly, of course. I loved as a kid the game 13 Dead End Drive.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys, that game, and I think that actually, that was maybe the most modern feeling game that I played with a kid. Like if that game came out now, I wouldn't be surprised to see that, on store shelves. So I always grew up playing them. And it was so funny that getting to college, right? And all growing up, we had Risk nights. Like that was the thing, right? When I went to college in the early 2000s, it was all Risk all the time. And we used to get together. I was very active in a church group, and we would play Risk all the time. And then I remember it must have been like 2006, or maybe it was 2005. I don't remember exactly. I went to one of those church game nights, and somebody had Catan, which was brand new at the time. And it was like, okay. And like that was the closest come to the hobby moment I had. And I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. Going from games like Risk and Axis and Allies to playing Catan for the first time, and it felt good and it was fun. And we talk again about rolling those dice and getting things like that satisfying moment of drawing all those cards and adding that element of trading and negotiation. So Catan was a no-brainer, and then that became just the game that we played. It was like Catan. When the expansions came out, we got the expansion. So I was all in on that. And that was kind of my gateway into games like Ticket to Ride, and then games like Power Grid, and then it was trips to the game store, and the game owner would recommend this game or that game. And I remember bringing home, games like Sid Meier's Civilization, and they just kept getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And it was never like a dream to work in the board game industry, because at the time there really wasn't a board game industry.
Yeah.
Right. Like we were like importing these Euro games. Like you were lucky if you got Agricola. Like that was, you find those games in stores. And a lot of gaming, like I played Magic. I played Magic my whole life. Since Magic came out, I've been playing Magic the Gathering. And so like that jump, and I still do play that, but that jump over to like hobby gaming was pretty easy. But again, there wasn't like the Dice Tower wasn't even really getting going at that point. Like the idea that you could go on YouTube, which again wasn't even really a big thing. The fact that you could go on YouTube and talk about board games wasn't even like a concept to me.
Yeah.
But I was big on the role-playing game side, and I work in the role-playing game industry. Back when Kickstarter first started, I self-published a couple role-playing games, and I've done a lot of published role-playing game work. And so like I'm very active in the community, and that's kind of how I got tied in with Man vs. Meeple. It was actually some local guy, Drakenstrike, who had been big on BGG. That's Jeremy, who kind of co-founded the channel with David. He's not in it anymore, but David is still. But the two of them kind of came together to make it. And myself and another guy, Gary, if you ever watched old MVM episodes, you'd recognize Gary. He was big on the channel before he moved as well. But we just used to play together. Like we'd play together at cons, we'd play together at the local game store. And then when they started doing this game, like this channel, they had this idea. Your friend tells you like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a YouTube channel. You're like, okay, sure. Like let's have a little fun, right? Like we'll go over there, play some games, maybe talk about them. Like we had no idea that it was gonna turn into something, let alone turn into like a career almost. That was very much not what we were setting out to do. We just really, really wanted to talk about board games. David and Jeremy were very passionate about being like, evangelists for the hobby, and just doing things a little differently. Because at that time, like they wanted a very professional, approach, a very news-like approach to MVM, and I think that's why people gravitated towards the channel, because it felt like you're getting like the newest news, I guess, in a very professional way. And we still kind of try to keep that. Although lately, like just the audience has changed, the board game industry has changed. It's such a wide range of people playing board games now that we've kind of loosened up with our content. We have a lot more fun, a lot more laughs, which I think people really tend to appreciate. I mean, when you've got channels like Shut Up and Sit Down, like it used to be like the Dice Tower was the channel, like that was where everyone went to get their dice or to get all their board game news.
Yeah, right.
And then Shut Up and Sit Down was where people went to laugh and have fun, and I think that's why Shut Up and Sit Down, even the last like couple of years, has blown up so much because it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think we've kind of reached a point in the board game industry now where like we're ready for that. Like people just want to have a good time. They want to laugh. It's not necessarily so much like we want the news. The news. We want the fun parts too, right? And so one of the big things about our channel, if you've never seen it, we do a lot of content. We do a lot of different formats, but our whole thing is like trying to be very, very positive about board games, right? Like there's a board game for everybody, and generally every board game has a person, right? Every board game has some kind of audience, and so we don't like to lean into like the negative. We definitely don't like to complain or like bash games. Right. So if you really want a channel that tries to offer a very positive experience, come watch us. I mean, David and I do a lot of the content. We have Emily local in Indianapolis as well, and if you've never seen Emily on our channel, she's hilarious and also just super smart. So the three of us together, it's a lot of fun. And then, of course, we have Jeremy Howard, who unfortunately, despite my begging him, has not moved to Indiana. He has a job and a family up where he lives.
Shame on him.
Yeah, I know, right? Come on, Jeremy. Indiana's nice, but he drives down. Bless his heart. He drives. It's like a 5-hour drive, and he does it every couple of months just so he can play with us and film with us in person. So it's a fun thing to put together, and we're really, really enjoying it. We go into work, like we just have fun with the content. We have fun with the games, and we have a great time with our community too. So follow us on YouTube, join us on Discord, whatever. It's just been a ton of fun doing this channel for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. You can look in the comments. I posted a link to their YouTube channel. Check it out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And and as you kind of mentioned, like the community it's an awesome thing, right? We all dipped in at different angles, but we've all, I think, come to know and gravitate towards people that are like these are cool people. These are the people you want to hang out with, and we're not doing it from a clout perspective. It's more of I always look at the cons as summer camp, right? Like these are my summer camp friends,
like, right?
but I get to see a couple times a year. And like I went to PAX East and got to introduce my wife to some summer camp friends this year, and it was kind of cool to see how those things kind of coincide. But it's just such a cool opportunity to be able to meet and explore people who also love games like you do, right?
I think that's you got it right. And you know what, like I'm gonna say, like on record, I love all the other content creators. Like I love hanging out with content creators at cons, and I'll tell you, like since the pandemic started and people were locked at home, a lot of people discovered that they could create content. A lot of people were just locked at home with their cameras, and they just started doing TikToks, they started doing Instagram. And so now coming out of the pandemic, we have such a dearth of new content creators out there in new formats, and like TikTok has really blown up for board games. Instagram has really blown up, and I love these people. Like I just love their love of board games, and I think like you said it, like right, like I don't think that there's many people out there who are clout chasing, right? Like I think the industry, the community, and the viewers, it's pretty quick to root out people whose only goal is like the money, because we're not.
This is not a big money field.
Nobody's doing this for money.
Here. Like, this is not a job that makes us money, but it's a job that I think everyone that I talk to that does it in the industry just does it out of sheer love. Not like personally, like whatever. I don't need to be recognized for what we do, even though it is weird still when people recognize. I'm sure you guys know if people ever recognized you at a con, it's the weirdest experience.
It is weird.
I just want to talk about board games to people, and I want to do it everywhere. And like Bob said, summer camp coming up in Ohio. Like what, 2 months from now, almost?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's almost here. We start the summer con season.
That's right. We got Origins and then Southern Fried
This is my kid is 4 years old, and I'm taking him with me to Origins for the first time.
Awesome.
Nice. That's
so
fun.
I'm super excited to get bringing him in to meet all my friends that never really get a chance to meet him. Like it's been 4 years that he's been alive, and most of my friends have never even seen him because we all live so far away. So I'm really looking forward to having him there with me.
Origins is such an awesome con for kids too.
It's exactly that's why
great
I think
stuff.
Like Gen Con is fun. They have some kids stuff, but like Origins has a lot to do for kids, and it's digestible. And the food there, great food,
superb,
really good.
My son and I have been going. This is our, I think 10th or 11th year going. So I think he was like 6 or 7 the first time, and now he's at the age he just kind of goes with his friends and hangs out and does their thing. But we still, go get food. We still play games. We still have a good time with it. So
I laughed at Bob just made a comment. He said, "No 2 a.m. upstairs." We do that a lot. No, probably not, Bob. Like so, that's what everyone says. I even told my parents I was bringing my kid. I was like, I'm bringing him to Origins this year, and they're like, "But then, what are you going to do with him at 2 a.m. when you're up gaming?" I won't be able to do that unless like his grandma comes or his mom comes.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, but if it's just me and him, like that is, and like that's the sacrifice when you bring your kid to a pub, right? Like you're not doing the night. You're not going out to the bars afterwards. You're not going out game until 2 a.m. But the trade-off is you get your kid there. You see him experience Origins and all this stuff for the first time. And so, I mean that's a trade I'm willing to make. But I will miss the
late night games,
2 a.m. gaming, charity gaming events, and things like that.
I'll say something controversial about the 2 a.m. gaming.
Don't say it. It's because you're old.
No, I have appreciated more recently that I can go to bed at 12:30, 1 o'clock. I can be fully functioning the next day, and I can feel really good about my life decisions. And I can digest the content I'm trying to make and the games I'm trying to play the next morning at 9 a.m.
Not necessary.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I mean, we've closed out a few cons. Like, I mean,
I love it. I love being up, and I mean, we were playing till 4:30 the one night at Tantrum Con. I was like, they're gonna be down here for breakfast soon. Like, what are we doing right now? And we had Sarah down there with us, and we were we're kicking butt. So
you know the king of late night gaming is Daryl Andrews. I don't know if you've ever seen him.
We beat Daryl was circling us at Tantrum Con. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm not going to bed till you guys are done." I'm like, "Okay,
That's funny.
Okay, all right." And he was the last one in the elevator, and he wanted us to know that he was the last one.
He wanted to make sure somebody saw
being the
it.
last one up at a con.
I was like, "All right, dude, I got you.
That's funny.
But yeah, I'm excited you're bringing your son. It's gonna be a good time.
I'm
my
really
son and I
looking
had tons of fun at Origins. I think the giant King of Tokyo is always his favorite thing, and those mechs. I don't know if you've ever done the mechs because there's not a lot of
the BattleTech stuff,
but those things are super fun, and that's always been one of his favorite things since he was real little. So
that's cool.
Lots of cool things to check out.
Cool.
Nice.
Brian, that brings us to
pick 5. So pick 5 is our staple of the game chat. At the end of the show, we always want to close it out with 5 picks from our topic of choice. So we're talking about roll and rights today. So each of us have picked 5 roll and rights that you should check out. Whether or not it's on your game shelf, you probably need to rectify that after you hear about these 15 games.
Yeah, well, there might be some over. It might not be
some crossover.
There'll be some crossover.
I bet there will be.
Yeah. So Ryan, we're going to start with you. If you just give us number 5 in no particular order, and then we'll follow your lead. So,
I actually did order mine.
I love Kelly's comment.
So I actually did go 5-1. So my number 5, Super Skill Pinball 4K. This came out from WizKids. This is literally like playing pinball, but with a roll and right. You've literally got like a dry erase board, and you're rolling these dice, and you're moving. You're like moving this little, almost like it's like half a pinball because
little some silver pinball.
But you're moving it around the board, and like based on the dice you roll, it determines which paths on the pinball board you can take. And of course, like just like pinball, you're trying to get certain things in certain orders, and as you go different paths, you have to cross things out, and you only get to use them a certain number of times. So it becomes this puzzle of like trying to figure out how to maximize your score. And just like pinball, again, they have so many different expansions, so many different boards, and all the boards are very thematic. They have fantasy boards, sci-fi boards. Now they have like Christmas boards. There's an elf board. There's a whole Star Trek set of boards. Like this is a thing that they can just keep doing forever. Like I would love to see, Star Wars boards, Marvel boards come out for this game. It's a ton of fun. And it's if you understand how pinball works, you already are halfway through learning the rules. So that's a huge thing too. You can play this game with basically anybody.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's a cool setup because it's one of the very few times that I've been like, maybe I can solo game.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Mine is Kokoro Avenue of the Kodama. Kodama is a game. Avenue is a game. Avenue is a path building flip and right game that was really, really, really hot for a minute. And then Kokoro is a merging of the Kodama series of games and Avenue. This one, you've got dry erase boards, you have the cute Kodama creatures, and you are trying to build pathways to shrines to make the most points. This game is very tricky. My wife hates it with all of her heart.
Wow.
She will never, ever play this game again with me. And I've tried to force her to love it, but she doesn't. And I'm okay with that. That's how we stay married.
That's okay.
Kokoro is a lot of fun, and it's a game that I continuously come back to and say, man, that's a solid one right there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. My first of 5 is Next Station London, the flip and right game. Absolutely love this thing. First learned it on BGA, Blue Orange Game. It's got one of my new favorite things in board games, the magnetic clasp thing. It's a small box game. My wife really enjoys it. I love the 4 different colored pencils and just how it sets itself to unique routes each time. And like a couple games I'm going to talk about here, it gets pushed to the edge of like, oh man, I just hosed myself over. And I love that feeling with these games. So Next Station London is my first.
That's a great one.
All right, we're just going around the circle then.
Yep. Yes, sir.
My next one is Cartographers, and this is set in the role player universe. This game is just fun. You're making a map, and like you've got the colored pencils in this one. And Ryan, I think I might even see it behind you. Yeah, right. Like it might be on all of our lists. This is like one of the best or most fun roll and writes you can play. Like the puzzle of building out your map it's so satisfying, and it's different every time because of those different scoring cards. So if you guys have it, I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but my favorite part about it, if you get like the collector's edition, even or like the big box, it comes with colored pencils. Or you can bring your own colored pencils. And when you start coloring in everything, like it's very satisfying to look down at your finished map and be like, wow, that looks really cool. Like even if you're not an artist, even if you're just coloring them in, I've seen some people that are like very good at it, and it can look like absolute art when it's done.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Not when Ryan does it.
Oh, please, whatever.
I just color him in. I don't do anything fancy.
I always draw my tomatoes looking really cool, and Bob draws like square tomatoes. I'm like, tomatoes aren't square, Bob. Come on, man. So he talked about a game that has a clasp on it. Let's talk about another
boom,
one.
Boom, blue orange again.
Blue orange King Domino Duel. This is a very underrated game. I never hear anybody talk about it. It is King Domino rules, the concept of King Domino, trying to match up those edges, trying to make sure that you stay like have a contiguous region, and then you're scoring crowns. There's shields in this one, and so this is a really, really fun one. I really enjoy King Domino Duel, and it's 2 players. Pencils are in the box. It plays quickly, packs away quickly. We have ordered food at a restaurant, put this on the table, and finished before our meal came, and had a great time. Fantastic 2-player game that's very portable.
Very nice. Yeah, I picked that up at Tantrum Con this year. At
really?
The garage sale area. It was like $5, and I was like, for $5, I'll give this a shot.
It's real solid. That's one that date nights, or if I take one of the kids out for dinner, that comes with us.
I actually don't have cartographers on my list. So when we do the 5 pick, I always have like 30 games, and then I'm kind of picking as we go because I'm like, I think I want to include that one. So I've got it narrowed down to like 9 right now. But the second one is Three Sisters from Motor City Games and 25th Century. I absolutely love this game.
So
it compares to another one that might be in somebody's list, so I don't want to talk about it, but a 2-sheeter roll and write that is
I took that one out of my sheet.
So. Did you? Yeah. It's heavy, but it's not unbelievably heavy, and everybody that's played has enjoyed it. Fun story with this. You do need to review the rules. We played this recently with some friends, and I thought I knew it. I don't want to name the person who was teaching it, but we both thought we knew it, and as we're going along, we're like, I feel like we're missing something, and then we look at the rules, like, oh my gosh, we missed like half of this game.
What rule?
Like a lot of it.
Oh, really?
just
like a lot of little stuff in Three Sisters, like you have
because
to for this, and like the way
like what you were supposed to cross off and how you're supposed to use it. Because I think we kind of jumped in like, oh, we were very comfortable with this game. We haven't played it in a while, so
man, now I got to review the rules. I've taught a lot of people that game. Crap,
I'm sure you taught it wrong.
Okay, I probably did.
It's funny you say Three Sisters because I debated. So the team that put together Three Sisters has done 3 fantastic roll and writes, and I could have put all 3 of them on my list. The other one being Fleet, but the one that I picked was Motor City, which is actually the newest one, and it's about building cars. Basically, you're building cars, you're racing on the track, and it is there it is. It is a hugely satisfying,
so good
roll and write. Like the concept of that game, and like what you're doing, it's maybe a little bit more complicated than some other roll and writes, like. Because there's some aspects of like, okay, you circle this thing, now you have it, and later on you're gonna, use it over here and cross it off. But there's so many different paths to that game. I feel like I love Fleet, I love Three Sisters, but Motor City I think is their number one. And if you're looking for something that's a little heavier, that still feels very much rooted in roll and write, not like flip and writes or anything like that. This is still a traditional roll and write, but it's definitely got layers that you're not going to see. In Gone Shun Clever or things like that. So maybe not the best family game, depending on your family, but it is great for, I think, more hobby gamers for sure. Yeah,
Motor City is fantastic. It was on my list, but I knew it would be on somebody else's list, so I took it off and went with some older games. So.
I see Taylor Swift, aka Jason, jumped in. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I didn't want to name anybody, but yes, it was us.
Oh.
We were trying. Forgot the rule where we plant and water with every dice choice. So
Okay.
we're like, why are these things not growing? I feel like they should be growing more right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
And then
So
we went
good.
back.
I have not. Yeah, because you. Okay. I have
But
not
it's that
gotten that
notion,
far.
right? You
Yeah.
think you know a game and
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
comfortable. And if you haven't played it and you've played 50 other games in front of it, it gets like,
Yeah.
what the heck am I supposed to do?
Yeah, so that's a
Oh
little bit of an
no.
issue.
Is that true?
Three Sisters it's coming back. It's in its third print.
I
Is it
didn't know
third
that.
printing, I think?
I didn't
Yeah,
know it was hard
so
to find either.
yeah, so it's I think it's in its third printing, but it should be here anytime this month. I think that's what Chad said recently because somebody else was looking for it. So I believe Kelly, if you order it off the 25th Century website, that's going to be your best bet.
I just Beetlejuice Chad. We'll see if that works.
But yeah, let's see.
Get them all though.
Chad Elkins. Is that how it works?
You're wearing a donut shop hat, so that should help.
Yeah, exactly. So he'll be able to see it from wherever he's sitting.
Yeah, it's like a bat signal.
Yeah. So we've said his name 3 times. He'll show up. So, and okay, next up, I've got the Castles of Burgundy, the dice game. This is a very portable version of Castles of Burgundy, one of my wife's favorite games. And so when we go on trips and we go places, this one comes with us because we can't take Castles of Burgundy with us, but we can play this on a plane or in a hotel room or whatever. This is a lot of fun, and it feels like the original. Like it feels close enough that you're not like, that's some bull crap right there. This is good. Like it's not like dumbed down. It's still got some chunky little decisions, and you're working with like trying to finish off things. So it's got a lot of the heart of Castles of Burgundy. So, but yeah. So yes, you can order it. Expect a second part of April. So Three Sisters on 25th Century website, and it is in the comments now.
Yes, and Bob brings up a good point. Make sure you're getting the dice game, not the card game.
Yes.
Not created equally, just FYI.
No, the card game takes up a lot of space, and I heard it's not great.
No, you need like a gaming table just to play that game.
Yeah, the dice game, not the card game. That's a good point.
Fair enough. You put the link there. Perfect.
Yeah.
This is number, what are we at? 4?
3.
This is my third. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, like I said, I got too many over here. Let's go with one from Game Right that's older. I'm pretty sure it's pretty old. I've had it forever, but I really enjoy. My boxes beat to heck, and that's Rolling America. Rolling America is simple. It is frustratingly fun. I don't know if you guys have played this one. It's got like the little fake looking map of the United States.
I have it.
Yep.
And you roll the dice, you put the numbers in to match the color, but every color that you place, every number you place must be equal or one higher or lower. And so at first it's like, this isn't bad, this is easy. And then it gets really, really tight and really like, yep, well, I'm done. I can't place anything else. So I love the pressure that builds in a roll and write. And that one does it very well in a very portable package.
That's good.
All right, my next one is we've talked about it already, but it's Welcome To. This is just it's a flip and write, not a roll and write. When this came out, that was like a flip and write. What? Like this was the first time I'd seen that, and it's so much fun and it's so satisfying. And it's great for families. It's easy to learn. You're building a neighborhood by flipping these cards, but it's a lot like what you just described with Rolling America. Like in every row of houses, you can put the numbers have to go like in sequential order. And so you start with this big grid, and you're like, man, whatever, I'll put the 7 here. And then you're like, oh no, like that means I need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exactly. Like, and you might not ever get that 1 when you need it, right? And each one of the numbers is paired with like an ability, the way the cards flip, and so you get to write the number and choose the ability. And oftentimes they're definitely not paired up the way that you'd want them to be. And so there's this puzzle. And when we're talking about like decisions, this game has them. Like every decision you make feels impactful. And you always feel like you're doing something fun. I mean, it's fun to, you're filling the numbers, the pools, marking off all the mailboxes and all the different stuff you're doing in that game. Yeah. It's just incredibly satisfying.
I still go back to that game, even though there have been other Welcome Tos. We've got Welcome to the Moon, Welcome to Las Vegas. Like they're all solid, but I still go back to the original just because it plays so smoothly, so well thought out. So
and you have all those different maps too. You have the Halloween map, you have the
absolutely
winter map,
zombies, Easter.
Yep, zombie one, yeah.
Yep. My next one is going to be Lots Filled In. Does not get enough talk. If you know the game of Lots, Lots is a kind of like a reverse Jenga type game where you're building this tower cooperatively, competitively. Lots Filled In is actually a roll and write based off of that. You're actually going to have your own unique sheet. There are 4 different building types in the game, and so everybody gets a different sheet, and you're going to be building using the shapes and colors. You take a shape and a color from the dice that are rolled, kind of snake draft order, and you're taking a shape and a color, combining the two and drawing it into your building. You're getting bonus points for having the largest group of the specific colors. You're getting points for hitting the certain floors at certain times in the game. It's really, really, really good. So, Ryan, your camera stands. Can I get a teenager? What does this mean? Camera? What now?
What's wrong with your camera stands?
No, Mr. Bob said, Ryan, your camera stands. Is that good or bad? I've got a teenager. I'm asking.
I'll find my
stands. Is that slang good or bad? I guess it's good. Bob's using lingo.
No one understands.
I've never even heard of
about most of the
I don't know what Bob's even talking about.
Oh, my camera stands. Now I get it. It's an inside joke.
Oh, it's an
inside joke. Bob, that tracks really well while we're on a
live show
with 2 other people that don't know what you're talking about.
But I'm doing it now. Isaac, your Marvel poster really stands.
Thank you.
So I will say that Lots has these little wooden pieces right here.
Right.
These wooden pieces are incredible for propping up cards for photo shoots.
Okay.
I leave the game of Lots is always out because I use the little wooden pieces to hold up the back of cards so I can get really nice crisp shots.
Well, that's smart.
I pay attention to you all the time, Bob. Number 4. And also, if you're watching, if you're commenting, drop 5 roll and writes you like, especially if you can think of one that we missed that you're like, oh, that's a really good one. Ryan talked about this as one of the first ones he played. It is always going to be a game I will play any time of the day. Classic, any of them, really. Dopplet, this one, but Cleaver is one of the first games that I actively sought out to buy from across the pond because I really wanted it. And also one of the first roll and writes that I had to go buy a laminator for. The box is super tight now, just to be able to laminate all these pages and having these laminated is super nice. So Gons is my number 4.
Nice.
No, there we go. There's a 5.
I did not put Gons on my list only because I had already talked about it and I knew I was going to talk about it. I talk about that game a lot. So my 5th spot I saved for my number 1 roll and write, my favorite. It's actually a flip and write. It's Hadrian's Wall. This game is so good.
It's really good.
So good. It's another one of those. It's 2 pages, and the pages are huge. I mean, when you're looking at this thing, it almost looks like an Excel spreadsheet.
Yes,
indeed.
So much going on. This is not, your This is not necessarily a family flip and write at all. This is a medium weight euro masking as a flip and write.
That's right.
It adds resources, meeples, like you're collecting, and like that's the fun part for me is like you're collecting all these meeples and the cards that you can play some cards and some cards flip and you kind of generate this pool of meeples. But as you're spending them to mark in these spaces, and it feels like almost every single space in that game that you mark off gives you something back. And so your whole thing is like prolonging your turn. You're spending a meeple to get this meeple. You can spend your meeples and your resources on other people's stuff to like trade with them, and you're giving them more. And like there's this whole lot of stuff going on, but it's all done simultaneously. So
it's really well.
You're not just you're not sitting there watching other people play for an hour. The whole game probably takes an hour because it's happening so fast, but it's immensely satisfying in so many different ways.
We've got Becky doubling up. Give us 2 lists of 5.
All right, what you got?
So first list of 5, got Lantern's Dice, doesn't get enough love. Bloom, 3 Sisters, Dopplet So Clever, That's So Clever, Clever Cubed.
Look, there's like 4 clever games now.
I know,
so many.
Plus Patchwork Doodle, Super Mega Lucky Box, Joan of Arc, Welcome to all the expansions.
I forgot about Super Mega Lucky Box.
Yeah, I was about to say I didn't see Super Mega Lucky Box.
Joan of Arc was very like the way that they took Orleans and like made it.
Yeah,
like it's just it was really well done. It was just so well produced, and it really just gives you those same vibes.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with my last one is Long Shot the Dice Game. It's so easy to teach. It plays up to 8 players. It is so much fun. It is easy to get sucked into this game to play 2 or 3 in a row because it takes about 35 minutes, and then people are like, "Oh man, that's not how I wanted to go out. Let's play it again." And the horses racing around the track, you're just like, you're so disappointed in horse number 5, and you're like, if I ever see horse number 5 in an alley, I'm turning that sucker into glue.
Whoa!
So hey,
very violent tonight.
So,
that game is so much. I'm glad you mentioned it. I did it as an honorable mention just in case.
Roll to the Top is super good. Bob taught us that on BGA.
Great.
I really enjoyed that one.
I really did too. We've played it a couple times. Kelly with Welcome to Ganshan Clever, Hadrian's Wall, Isle of Cats Explore and Draw. Never played that one, but I've seen it. And then Quicks, that's a classic. My dad loved Quicks, so
those are all great choices. I saved my favorite roll and write, and actually it's funny because Eagle Griffin shared this earlier today, and I commented on their page. I said that's my favorite roll and write. Criminally also underrated, but I wanted to save it, and that's Tag City. Tag City is amazing. It's a European game by Runes Edition, and then Eagle Griffin brought it over kind of right in the middle of the pandemic, so I don't think this thing gets the love it deserves. It's a really good roll and write. It's a tagging based game.
You need to bring it with you because to a convention, because this is the 3rd time you've talked about it on the show. My mother-in-law tried to find a copy for my birthday last year because you talked about it and couldn't find it.
It's just recently, I think Eagle Griffin is republishing it, but
really,
you got dice rolling. It's got these little Tetris pieces that you're drawing on your board, and it's got like similar to like Welcome to, where it's a race to finish, but it's finishing rows and finishing columns to get more points or second most points. It's great. I love it. Good stuff.
Bob with another great honorable mention, Explorers from Phil Walker Harding. Explorers is fantastic. That one and it advances. Once you get used to it, you can flip over the tiles, play a more advanced version of it, which is really fun.
I don't think I've played a bad Phil Walker Harding game yet.
No, it's always like, oh yeah, who made this one? Phil Walker Harding.
Yeah,
that's why you love it.
Yeah.
So
all right, we normally finish with what are you playing? So just a quick what's been hitting your table, Ryan?
Yeah, 2 things. I've been playing through Oathsworn, which is a giant, huge campaign game. I've been playing that with my co-host David Waybright. That game is so thematic. It's a boss battler, but it's fun. The story is phenomenal. They got there's an app that goes along with it that does all the text that they had. It's basically like listening to an audiobook while you're playing a game, and it's super engaging. The story is so good. And the other thing I've been playing, finally getting to Dead Reckoning, which was one of my favorite games for a long time. But we finally started playing through the sagas, which are like the campaign element to the game. It adds in like actual narrative into a game of Dead Reckoning. It adds, persistent items and things that carry from game to game. And there's a whole campaign scoring system. That takes the game that I loved and just elevates it. So we're playing through Saga 1 and 2, and then Saga 3 comes out when the expansion releases later this year. So hopefully we'll have 1 and 2 done by the time 3 comes out. We're just going to jump right into it. Dead Reckoning is a game that so far I have just never gotten tired of. I could play that game. We play it weekly, and I'm just not tired of it at all. So,
I've never played it, but I've seen enough that I want to play it now. So
that's good.
I taught a friend of mine Anno 1800 today, and he really loved it. He came over. We were just looking for some time to chill out and hang out today before we got on the show. And I said, you know what? You want to play something that make you think a little. And he hasn't played a heavy game like this in a while. And so Anno 1800 hit the table today, and I'm very glad because every time I play it, I'm like, man, such a solid game. So,
it is very, very good.
Then,
very good choice.
We got in our copy of Darwin's Journey.
Yeah,
Collector's Edition.
glad that's out.
Oh man, I'm so excited about it. I punched everything last night. I sorted it. I had to go. By the way, it makes no sense how this thing sorts. So do yourself a favor, save yourself some time. Go to the Kickstarter and look under the comments, like recent stories or whatever. They'll show you how to put everything in there. It makes no sense. And I don't think I'll ever get everything in the box without looking at the pictures again. So we'll see.
Lots of stickers.
No stickers. No stickers like Jerusalem. No.
So many stickers.
So many stickers.
There you go. But I gotta grab mine. Becky can tell.
Oh, Cat in the Box is so good.
Yeah.
And Millie Fiore is so good.
It is
such a
so
good game.
good.
I have been playing and played yesterday. Bob sent it to me quickly after Derek sent it to him, and that is Stan's new game, Nova Roma.
Yes,
so good.
I know I'm probably the last in the chain of reviewers who got a hold of this game, but man, this game is good. Like,
it is, right?
Very good.
Super solid. Stan it kind of hits in that auto back world, right? For the games he makes, they're all super good, and I played this with my wife last night, and both of us said it reminded us, not that it's like a one-to-one reminder, but it reminded us of gosh, I'm having
is it Trojan? Is that what you're thinking of?
Trojan, definitely for me, but one that she had played that reminded her of was Genties, the TMG game. That there was this decision-making worker placement part, but honestly, the star of this game is that 4x4 grid of the power. Like, that's you both have had a chance to play it, right?
Mm-hmm. We live streamed it, played it a bunch. This is another one I'll say. I said this earlier about Draft and Right. This was another game that when I played this with Stan at Gen Con like last year. I said this is going to be huge, and everyone I've played it with has loved it. But it's just not getting again the love on Kickstarter that I think it should. A lot of issues with. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that.
Yeah,
there's so much on Kickstarter right now. There's just so much happening in the board game world too. But I think this is one that when people get it, they're gonna wish they had backed it. Like,
absolutely.
Such a fun, challenging game, and I don't think it. Like, I think I can play this one without getting tired of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of variability
really
for sure. The other thing I'm playing a lot of is Marvel Snap, but not right now.
You talk about Marvel Snap almost every single day.
It's so much. I talked to Ryan's son about Marvel Snap at TantrumCon.
Nice.
That was so that. But the other game I'm actually playing, a lot of content creators putting stuff out, is my Shelfie from Lucky Duck. This one was fun. I enjoyed it. I need to play it a few more times to get a good feel for it, but I love any game that moves up from the table, and just visually, aesthetically, it's a fun experience. So can't go wrong with Lucky Duck usually.
Yeah. When are we going to do a whole Marvel Snap episode? I'm sure you have already.
Marvel games? I would love to do that.
Should we do a mobile board game, card game?
Oh, you said mobile. Oh, I'm sorry, app. Yeah, we should.
Well, no, I'm just trying to think, or like app game. I don't know. Maybe that.
I could talk about Marvel Snap for an entire hour. Just telling you.
I could too. We do.
I know.
I haven't played regularly in a week. So.
Get out of here! Get out of here with that.
Anyway, so Ryan, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me. I have a Twitter that I don't use, but we have Man vs. Meeple has a Twitter account. Man vs. Meeple has an Instagram account. Find us on YouTube, Man vs. Meeple. That's where we do most of our content, and we just started doing a little bit of like YouTube Shorts and TikTok content. Probably going to be doing more there. So find us on TikTok, Man vs. Meeple again. All those different places where we're sharing content. But again, YouTube is our primary, and every Wednesday at noon, except for this Wednesday because David's at Gamma. But check us out Wednesday at noon. That's when we do our live streams, and they're a ton of fun.
Nice.
Awesome.
You can find us at oneboardfamily.com, oneboardfamily at oneboardfamily all over the place on the internet. I recently TikToked the fact that I was in a Ross Dress for Less looking at clothing and Christmas music was on. What the crap, people? Come on.
I'm not sure. April. What are you doing looking for Christmas stuff?
I wasn't looking for Christmas stuff. They were playing Christmas music.
That makes more sense.
That's not okay. Like,
it's Ross. I just never took it off from Christmas.
That's true. I haven't been in there since Christmas. It may have never been gone. Anyway, there is a time for Josh Groban, and there is not a time for today. Now is not the time for Josh Groban. Right. So anyway, find us at One Board Family. Tomorrow we've got our review for That Old Wallpaper, that classic tacky card game.
God bless Nathan.
Nice.
Yeah.
We are at Game of Sidekicks everywhere. You can find that handle: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok quite a bit. YouTube, we're cranking out some videos. Stuart, who's one of our 4 members over at Game of Sidekicks, has just started. Actually, I'm going to post that if you want to show it. Just started doing videos weekly, playing kids games with his son, who is 4. And so they just played Rhino Hero. And so we're going to be doing some work posting up those videos, and then the shorts. Like, I don't understand TikTok or YouTube or Facebook's algorithm for shorts.
Makes no sense.
I posted 2 videos yesterday. One of them got 20 views. The other one got 8.2 thousand.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, I'll just keep posting stuff, and something's gonna stick.
Shorts are like that, man. It's wild. It's wild. And you just you think you have a really good idea for a short, and it gets 100 views, and you're like, let's throw something up. Oh, 6,000 views in the first hour. Okay. I don't know why.
I wonder if you could just post it at different hours and then just take down the ones that don't work. So I might start doing that. I might just
take it down and repost it again. 100 views the first time, 5,000 views the second time.
Yeah. I should start tracking it. Grant said he tracks it. He tracks the date and time, and he releases at specific times. So
I went to a birthday party, and my phone is blowing up because for some reason the short that I published, and it took me like 2 minutes to record and post, had over 1,500 just from me driving a couple cities over.
Wow.
I was like, what is happening? And then I posted something the next week around the same time, 80 people watched it. And I'm like, that's cool. Anyway, so that'll do it. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for everybody in the comments. Kelly, thanks for joining us. Bob, Jason, Becky, all the people, thank you so much for coming on the show and hanging out with us. Yep. This has been the Game Chat, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody.